everybody, it's Marty from owingsart.com. That's OWINGSART.com. And today I'm here to talk a little bit about sketchbooks. A few days ago I had a YouTube user, SuperFlawless9, ask me, hey, can you post something on sketchbooks? So that's just what I'll do today, and thanks for checking it out. Okay, first of all, when does a drawing pad become a sketchbook? I think that's entirely up to the user of the book. I mean, I have a big sketchbook that, I call it a sketchbook. Others might call it a drawing pad, but I take it with me in the field and I sketch. Therefore, it is a sketchbook to me. Okay, so regardless of like what you hear about what is a sketchbook and what is not and how it can be defined, I'd say a sketchbook is whatever you make it. So I'm not obsessed with the size, but I know that a lot of people think, well, okay, if it's smaller, then it's really a sketchbook, and the demarcation line is portability. But to me, you can carry this in a backpack as easy as you can carry this. It just depends on what you want to do and where you're going with it. But portability is a factor. So I'm going to talk about a number of sketchbooks today and their quality and what they're like and how I find their usage to be. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this is called a travelogue, and this is made by Global Art Materials company. You can see that. I'll put a link down on the page here, but globalartmaterials.com has these, and you can find them at most of the major art supply resellers: Dick Blick, Utrecht, Jerry's, ASW, places like that. Anyway, it's got a fabric cover, which is kind of neat, fabric bound, and they call it's handbook here, the handbook label logo. But if you open it up, first thing you notice is the pages are this nice cream color, but they're kind of lighter compared to like a watercolor sketchbook or whatever you might find. So if you're like a pencil and ink artist, they're fine, but if you're going to use any kind of mixed media, they're probably not heavy enough for you. And I'll show you some examples of that. Okay, so for instance, if you're going to do pencil and ink, that works great, but the minute you start laying down some wet media, in this case it was a Copic marker, if you look on the back page, you'll notice some of the bleed through, and when you get bleed through, it means you can't use this page. And if the bleed through is heavy enough, and I'll show you an example of that, it can bleed through onto two pages, and then you don't have either one of those pages to use after that. So I'll show you, I think I can find an example of that on one of these pages coming up. All of these have bleed through, which you can see, but I'm just looking through here and trying to find where that bleed through might have occurred. So here's an example. So on this drawing, I made these three stripes on the back of this plane, and I put them in pretty heavy, and then they bled through here, and then they bled through over here as well. So that's not good. So multiple page bleed through, which you don't want. Anyway, so because the paper is kind of thinner, but these are good, and they make a travelogue watercolor travel journal, which I haven't tried, but I think it's probably worth me picking up. So this one comes with this bookmarker, this cloth bookmarker, so you can just throw that in wherever you need to. It's something that the Moleskine doesn't have in some of their books. Anyway, that's the Travelogue Artist Travel Journal by globalartmaterials.com. You can check that out. This is a standard Strathmore mixed media notebook. It's a ring binder. A lot of people don't like ring binders for sketching. Why? Because they can't, go across multiple pages, and they like to be able to do that. And when they can't, they're fussy about it. But my opinion on that is, use it for what you're going to use it for, and you can draw a panoramic. You're just going to have to go over the rings, and a lot of people, they say, don't like to do that. Well, some of the properties of this book are that it's got heavier paper here. So this is a 96 or a 90-pound paper, which is excellent. When you do a little mixed media like I did here, for example, it's not going to bleed through. It will warp your paper because, again, this isn't watercolor paper, it's mixed media paper. Watercolor papers tend to be a little bit heavier, but you can see some of the wrinkling here as there was bleed through. So, but I love the Strathmore, and this is a 300 series. I think they make a 400 series as well. Just a good all-around sketchbook. The B Paper Company makes a book called the Super Deluxe, which is just an excellent book. You can find these. It doesn't come with these stickers. I put those on there, and it's not going to be $1.99. I think it's a little bit more than that. But B you can pick up at any of the art supply places. One of the things I really like about the B is it's just got this really heavy, rigid cardboard back, so it gives you that kind of nice substrate or surface. When you're out in the field and you want to sketch, you can feel the weight of it. It's very nice. The paper as well is a bit thicker, so I believe this is 96 pound or 93 pounds, so it's a little bit thicker. It's kind of like lightweight cardstock, which is nice, and it's got this nice cream color. Not as creamy as some of the papers, like in this travelogue here, but still pretty nice. And you can see if you do some watercolor on it, and I went pretty heavy with watercolor here, again you're going to get some of the wrinkling because it's not a watercolor paper. But I like for a ring-bound sketchbook, it's great. And the size is 9x6, and so it's small. Alright, on to the Moleskine. The Moleskine is kind of famous. Lots of sketch artists have used this book. I don't know, maybe going back to Hemingway or whoever, but this book right here is nice because the paper is heavy, and I bought the watercolor edition. This is made by Moleskine, which I believe is Italian, but the book itself is made in China. Anyway, needless to say, the papers are very pretty heavy, so it's good. You can do mixed media on here, and you won't have any trouble, I don't think, with too much bleed through. You will get bleed through if you go down too heavy on it, but it's not too bad. I've had good luck with these. So that's a Moleskine in this size. This is a smaller size. Here's a big, large Moleskine, and yes, it turns this way and folds out, so you can do big sketching with this, like a huge panoramic sketch if you want. One of the things I like about Moleskine is that if you look real closely here in the binding here, you'll see that this is threaded. So there's threads through these, which is really, really nice. Just a mark of that extra bit of quality. So this is a Moleskine in the larger side. This is 8.5 by 11, I believe. Now that brings me to the last of the sketchbooks that I really want to talk about today, and that's a Cottonwood Arts sketchbook. So Cottonwood Arts right here, it's a sketchbook company run by artists themselves and designers. So they put a little extra quality in there, as you're going to pay a little bit more for this sketchbook, but what you're going to get out of it is well worth it, I believe. So if you open this up, first thing you're going to notice, it's very heavy. And then it's fabric bound, and it opens all the way up, which is really nice. So it doesn't like bend right here, it opens all the way up. So that's really nice. You can get at your drawings. Next thing you're going to notice right off the bat is this very heavy stock paper that it's on. So what is it? It is really heavy, I think 96 or maybe more, 96 pound, maybe heavier, acid-free, pH neutral paper mounted on a cardboard core, and covered backing is the same as the front paper, I believe. So you know, you're not going to get any bleed through on these, that's for sure. And they also make a canvas paper, which I ordered but haven't opened up yet, and I'll show you that just quick. This is the same size notebook, only the paper in here is canvas paper. So if you're a painter, you paint oil paints, or you watercolor, you're very heavy with your wet media, this is a great book for that. I mean, as far as I have read. Now, I haven't tried this one myself, but if it's anything like their standard sketchbook, it's going to be awesome. Alright, that's about it today. I want to thank Super Flawless for asking for the question, and appreciate if you leave a question or comment, I'll be happy to answer any that you might have. But thanks for stopping by today. Take a look at sketchbooks and hear me talk about those. All right, have a great day, and hope you get some time to draw today. So long, everybody.